Industrial and multiphase plugs and sockets provide a connection to the electrical mains rated at higher voltages and currents than household plugs and sockets. They are generally used in polyphase systems, with high currents, or when protection from environmental hazards is required. Industrial outlets may have weatherproof covers, waterproofing sleeves, or may be interlocked with a switch to prevent accidental disconnection of an energized plug. Some types of connectors are approved for hazardous areas such as coal mines or petrochemical plants, where flammable gas may be present. Almost all three-phase power plugs have an earth connection, but may not have a neutral because three-phase loads such as motors do not need the neutral. Such plugs have only 4 prongs. An example of a socket with neutral is the L21-30 and the L21-20, both of which have 5 pins. While some forms of power plugs and sockets are set by international standards, countries may have their own different standards and regulations. For example, the color coding of wires may not be the same as for small mains plugs. Europe Europe-wide IEC 60309 system equals. In Europe, the most common range of heavy commercial and industrial plugs are made to IEC 60309 and various standards based on it. These are often referred to in the UK as CEE Industrial, C-form or simply CEE plugs, or as commando connectors. Plugs are available in P plus N plus E, 2P plus E, 3P plus E, and 3P plus N plus E. Current ratings available are 16A, 32A, 63A, 125A and 200A. Voltage and other characteristics are represented by a color code. The different voltages have the earth pin of a larger diameter than the others, and located in different places depending on the voltage rating, making it impossible to mate, for instance, a blue plug with a yellow socket. Since the different current ratings have different overall sizes, it is also not possible to mate different pin configurations or current ratings. For example, a 16A3P plus E400V plug will not mate with a 16A3P plus N plus E400V socket, and a 16AP plus N plus E230V plug will not mate with a 32AP plus N plus E230V socket. Notes: all AC systems are either 50 or 60 Hz unless otherwise stated. All three-phase plugs and socket are available in 3P plus E or 3P plus N plus E. 1. Single phase. 2. Three-phase line voltage. 3. Single-phase voltage or three-phase line voltage including supplies from an isolating transformer. 4. Three-phase line voltage at 60 Hz only. 5. Greater than 50 volts three-phase line voltage. Not available in single-phase version. 6. Greater than 50 volts single-phase or three-phase line voltage. 7. Single and three-phase supplied from an isolating transformer. 8. Only available in 16 and 32 amp sizes. 9. Most frequently used for low-voltage supplies that do not fall into any of the specified ranges. Yellow 2P plus E, blue P plus N plus E, yellow 3P plus E, red 3P plus E, and red 3P plus N plus E are by far the most common arrangements. Blue P plus N plus E sockets are used as standard by British and Danish campsites and yacht marinas to provide 240V domestic mains power to frame tents, trailer tents, caravans, and boats. They are also used elsewhere in Europe for the same purpose, though in some countries the local domestic plug is also widely used. Static caravans generally use the similar 32A version because of the requirement to power electrical cooking and heating appliances. The blue P plus N plus E16A version carrying 240V is also used in shopping malls and their peripherals to power temporary stalls not incorporated within a lock-up shop. There is also use in domestic gardens within Britain to power garden equipment, barbecues, and temporary lighting. The yellow 2P plus E16A version carrying 115V is used extensively on the London Underground Railway system to power temporary usage of heavy-duty fans. It is also frequently used by tradesmen within the UK, built into a portable transformer box that is powered from a standard 13A 240V mains supply, to run heavy-duty power tools designed to operate at 115V. A small number of marinas provide 230V single-phase power through a red 3-phase connector. This goes some way to ensuring that only boats that have paid the required fee are able to use the electricity. Entertainment industry. Throughout Europe, a common use of industrial power connectors is in the entertainment and broadcast industries. In this industry, the above-mentioned IEC 60309 connectors are referred to as C-form connectors. 230V single-phase and 400V three-phase connectors between 16A and 125A ratings are used. Where more current carrying capacity is required, such as between generator sets and distribution boards, VEAM Powerlocks or camlocks may be used. These connectors are single poles, so 5 are required to accommodate each phase and neutral and ground. Powerlocks of a rating of 400A or 660A at 1 kV camlocks E1016 series are rated at 600V 315A. Powerlocks are identified with a European harmonized color code. They are also annotated as follows: brown, L1, black, L2, gray, L3, blue, N, green, earth. Camlocks are also available in these colors. Where it is necessary to run separate feeds through multi-cable, the socket PEX 19-pin connector is often encountered on theater and studio lighting rigs. UK, Luden plugs. Luden plugs and sockets are metal-bodied waterproof plugs and sockets made by Luden. The pin arrangements of the smaller single-phase varieties are the same as BS 1363 and BS 546 plugs and sockets. These plugs and sockets will mate with normal plugs and sockets of the same pin arrangement, but they are only waterproof when a Luden plug is used in a Luden socket and the screw ring is properly tightened. UK, BS 196. In 1930, the BS 196 standard for industrial plugs and sockets was introduced. The plugs are available in 5A, 15A and 30A variants, with various configurations of keyways and pins to cater for different voltages. BS 196 plugs have now been superseded by BS 4343 connectors in most modern applications. Sweden, Germany and Netherlands, Fareal X plugs. Fareal X plugs and sockets are 5-pin 3-phase connectors. The system provides 400V3P plus N plus PE and exists in 16A and 25A versions. In Sweden, the 16A is generally used for stoves and to some extent for other heating devices in kitchens. Nowadays Fareal X is mostly obsolete. Sweden, Semco 17 plugs. Semco 17 were 3/4 pin 3-phase connectors, with or without a neutral connector. Earth were provided via the shield. The connectors were available in different sizes, 16A with rounded corners. 25A and 63A were rectangular. These connectors were used mainly in industrial and agricultural installations. Manufacturing and selling of Semco 17 connectors with metal shells was prohibited in 1989. A few years later, manufacturing and selling of all Semco 17 connectors were prohibited. Existing connectors may be used but not by any employee. The reason for the prohibition is that Semco 17 had several safety issues. The ground connection can become oxidized, and when the shells are made of metal, any ground fault goes right through the hands of a person disconnecting a male and a female cable connector. Incorrect use of the ground connector as a neutral was not uncommon. Perhaps the worst issue is that in some connectors the ground screw could rust so severely that the ground wire comes loose and in the worst case make contact with a live wire nearby. Switzerland, SEV 1011 . The Swiss standard SN SEV 1011 2009 plugs and socket outlets for household and similar purposes defines a hierarchical system of plugs and sockets including both single and three-phase connectors. Sockets will accept plugs with the same or fewer number of pins and the same or lower ratings. Single-phase Swiss plugs and sockets are described in AC power plugs and sockets. The tip 15 plug and socket has 3 round pins of 4 mm diameter, plus 2 flat pins. It is designed for three-phase applications and is rated at 10A, 250V/400V. The socket will also accept tip 11 and tip 12 plugs, as well as the Europlug. The tip 25 plug and socket has 3 rectangular pins, 4 mm x 5 mm, plus 2 flat pins. It is designed for 3-phase applications and is rated at 16A, 250V/400V. The socket will accept tip 11, tip 12, tip 21, tip 23 single-phase plugs, as well as the Euro plug, and the tip 15 and tip 23 3-phase plugs. Croatia, Serbia, BH, Slovenia, Montenegro, Macedonia. This type of 3-phase plug and sockets are mainly used in ex-Yugoslavian countries. They are 5-pin 3-phase connectors, rated at 16A, 380V. North America. Pin and sleeve. Pin and sleeve circular connectors are not compatible with the newer IEC 60309 type. Current ratings are 30, 60, 100, 200, and 400A. All are rated for voltages up to 250 VDC or 600 VAC. Contact arrangements are from 2 to 4 pins. There are 2 styles depending on the treatment of the ground. Style 1 grounds only on the shell. Style 2 uses one of the contacts as well as the shell, internally connected together. They are not strongly typed for specific circuits and voltages as the IEC 309 are. One insert rotation option is available to prevent mating of similar connectors with different voltages. The contacts in the plug are simple cylinders, while the pin contacts in the receptacle have the spring arrangement to hold contact pressure, the reverse of the IEC 60309 type connectors. All contacts are the same diameter. Originally metal construction was used, but now they are also made with plastic shells. Since only keying in the connector shell is used, and since the keys can be damaged in industrial use, it is possible to mismatch worn connectors. NEMA connectors. NEMA devices are not exclusively industrial devices, and some types are found in nearly all buildings in the United States. Many of these standards are identical to their counterparts in Canada, although there are some exceptions. NEMA wiring devices are made in current ratings from 15 Euro 60A, and voltage ratings from 125 Euro 600V. There are 2 basic classifications of NEMA device, straight blade and locking. The locking type is found mostly in industrial applications. Numbers prefixed by L are twist lock, others are straight blade. NEMA 10 to 20, 10 to 30 and 10 to 50. NEMA 10 devices are a curious throwback to an earlier time. They are classified as 125/250ths non-grounding, yet they are usually used in a manner that effectively grounds the appliance, albeit not in a manner consistent with most modern practice. As commonly used, 10 to 30 and 10 to 50 plugs have the frame of the appliance grounded through the neutral pin. This was a legal grounding method under the National Electrical Code for electric ranges and electric clothes dryers from the 1947 to the 1996 edition. Since North American dryers and ranges have certain parts that run on 120V, this means that the wire used for grounding is also carrying current. Although this is contrary to modern grounding practice, such installations remain extremely common in the United States and are relatively safe, because the larger conductors used are less likely to be broken than the smaller conductors used in ordinary appliance cords. Persons moving their older appliances to newer NEMA 14-equipped buildings should have the cords replaced by a qualified electrician, as the grounding details may be quite confusing to the uninitiated. NEMA 10 to 20 devices are very rare nowadays. There is also a similar obsolete design, lacking a NEMA configuration number, rated 125V15A or 250V10A, which is nearly identical to the ASN ZS3112 standard used in Australia and New Zealand. These are also extremely rare. NEMA 14. The NEMA 14 devices are 4-wire grounding devices available in ratings of 15 Euro 60A. Of the straight-blade NEMA 14 devices, only the 14 to 30 and 14 to 50 are common. The voltage rating is a design maximum of 125/250ths V. They are essentially the replacements for the connectors above with the addition of a separate grounding connection. All NEMA 14 devices offer two hots, a neutral and a ground, allowing for both 120V and 240V appliances. They differ in rating and shape of the neutral pin. The 14 to 30 has a rating of 30A and an L-shaped neutral pin. The 14 to 50 has a rating of 50A and a straight neutral pin sized so that it will not fit in the slot of a 14 to 30. NEMA 14 to 30 devices are most commonly found serving electrically heated clothes dryers, while 14 to 50 devices most commonly serve kitchen ranges. In the United States, these are generally found in buildings constructed after the 1996 National Electrical Code, although they are also found in considerably earlier mobile homes. In Canada, the use of NEMA 10 devices was discontinued much earlier, so NEMA 14 devices are more common there. Twist-locking connectors. Twist-locking connectors were first invented by Harvey Hubbell III in 1938 and twist-lock remains a registered trademark of Hubbell Incorporated to this day, although the term tends to be used generically to refer to NEMA twist-locking connectors manufactured by any company. Twist-locking connectors all use curved blades that have shapes that conform to portions of the circumference of a circle. Once pushed into the receptacle, the plug is twisted and its now rotated prongs latch into the receptacle. To unlatch the plug, the rotation is reversed. The locking coupling makes for a very reliable connection in commercial and industrial settings. Like non-locking connectors, these come in a variety of standardized configurations and follow the same general naming scheme except that they all begin with an L for locking. The connector families are designed so that 120V connectors, 208 240V connectors, and various other, higher voltage connectors cannot be accidentally intermated. Stage pin connectors. A stage pin connector, or grounded stage pin, is a connector used primarily in the theater industry for stage lighting applications in the United States. Stage pin connectors are generally used for conducting dimmed power from a dimmer to stage lighting instruments, although occasionally they can power other equipment. The primary advantage of the stage pin connector over the NEMA 5 to 15 connector is its increased durability and resistance to damage due to its more robust construction and the ability to compensate for wear with a pin splitter. Having a distinct connector designated for dimmable power also helps prevent confusion of dimmed and non-dimmed circuits which could lead to equipment damage. Even the smallest stage pin connectors are rated for 20A, which translates to 2.4 kilowatts at 120V, compared to the 15A and 1.8 kilowatts of the NEMA 5 to 15. In applications where cables are on the floor, the low profile of the connector allows for connections that are only slightly higher than the cables they connect. California 50A connector. In North America for moderate current requirements the 50A California-style connector is commonly used. It features a twist-lock design with a metal sleeve full protecting the blades on the male connector and a center ground spike on the female connector to aid in centering. California connectors are commonly used at outdoor events, shows and conventions and at construction sites. For example, a three-phase plug which requires a neutral connection cannot be inserted into a socket outlet which does not provide for such a connection. However, a plug which does not require a neutral connection can be inserted into a socket outlet which provides such a connection, although the neutral connection would not be utilized in that situation. For stage lighting use, a common plug is the 32A 5-pin connector with a neutral pin. Motor loads that don't need the neutral use a 4-pin connector. Larger requirements may use Powerlock or camlock connectors. In the IT industry, the IEC 60309 system is sometimes used. In standard ASN ZS 3112, single-phase plugs of lower current rating may be inserted into single-phase socket outlets of higher current rating but not vice versa. Compatibility is grouped like this, such that larger sockets in one group can take the same plug or any smaller plugs from that group only. Single-phase flat-pin plugs and sockets, 10A, 15A, 20A, single-phase size 1 plugs and sockets, 20A, single-phase size 2 plugs and sockets, 32A, multiphase size 1 unique, 16A, multiphase size 1-10A, 20A, multiphase size 2-32A, 40A, 50A. There are also metal clad plugs and sockets that go up to 63 amp ratings, at a significantly higher cost. Within each size group, certain lugs on the outside of the plugs of higher current rating prevent a plug rated for a higher current being installed into a socket outlet rated for a lower current. However, a plug rated for a lower current can be installed into a socket outlet of the same size group rated for a higher current. For example, a 32A 4-pin plug without neutral can plug into a 50A 5-pin socket with neutral available. However, a 10A 5-pin plug cannot fit a 32A 5-pin socket, as the plugs are different diameters. See also, domestic AC power plugs and sockets, double insulated, electricity, electrical power, ground and neutral, protective multiple earthing. References. External links.